Diablo Cody and Zelda Williams, Catherine Newton, Cole Sprouse have cooked honestly. And you can check out my review for Lisa Frankenstein if you want to know everything I thought about the film and all of that. That's not what we're doing here. We're doing ending explained. We're talking spoilers, all of that. Yes, ending explained. We got to do it. It's the algorithm. What are we going to do? Doesn't mean that I'm going to give you a video that's going to feel cheap or anything like that. I truly want to talk about the film and everything about it because I think that Diablo Cody is one of those writers that I want to see more of. I've enjoyed Tully. I like Juno. I like Jennifer's Body. And I really like Lisa Frankenstein a lot. It really was a film that I just knew it was going to go. You know, it's one of those films that you just see a trailer, you just read about it, and you just know it's going to be a hit. It's going to be a cult classic. It's Heathers for a new generation. It's Edward Scissorhands for a new generation. All at the same time, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's not to you. Maybe you hate it, and that's all fine and dandy. But let's get into this film and everything we really enjoyed. So first and foremost, Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse just have some amazing chemistry together, honestly. And all of that to say that Cole Sprouse wasn't even talking for most of this movie, and I still really felt that energy in it. I saw that Diablo Cody actually said that she knew Zelda Williams was the one to direct this film once they told them how they would handle that climatic scene, which we're about to talk about in a bit, and also how that scene actually changed and gave the film its PG-13 rating instead of the R rating. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know why that was going to be R-rated. So I want to talk about the whole plot of this because I think it's just so interesting how we're getting all of these Frankenstein movies now, and not just Frankenstein, right? We're getting like old school horror monsters. We have a Wolfman movie. We had The Invisible Man right before things got weird a couple years ago. And then we are now getting a Dracula's Daughter movie with Abigail in about 2 months. So the classic horror monsters, they're thriving. And I really enjoyed what Zelda Williams here and Diablo Cody were able to put together. And it comes right after Poor Things, another Frankenstein movie as well. And I think at the same time, they are kind of one in one, you know? And I will make a whole video about that because I do want to get more into that. This is just strictly all about Lisa Frankenstein. Because I think that what they were able to do here is just good, honestly. It has this campy tone to it at times, and it also has this very romantic vibe to it, and also a coming of age in a way as well, all wrapped around this very dark and weird comedy as well. So I do want to talk more about that, but let's get right into how this movie was almost rated R. So I was reading about this movie, and I always do this. Excuse the stutter, but I always do this. I really enjoy a movie, and I just want to hear how the writing, how the directing, and all of that came to be. So I was reading this article where Diablo Cody was actually talking about the whole experience making the movie and how they knew that this was going to be a movie that Zelda Williams had to tackle. So according to Diablo, she said, "The first time I met with Zelda in person, she started describing how she would shoot that scene." So I was like, oh, once it was described, she said, oh, she's ready. This is what Cody told the Hollywood Reporter. So apparently that scene actually was shot to be R-rated, as were other sequences in the film, but they wanted to keep it PG-13. And I have a feeling I know why, because they did that, because they want this movie to really go and flourish at the box office, especially with a Valentine's release day, you know, brings the movie out more eyes on the movie. And they said in the rated R version that initially existed, there is a very large, beautifully made prosthetic that you do actually see land in the trash can. And even while I was filming that, I was like, this is likely not going to wind up in this film, but it does exist. Otherwise, it largely ended up on screen the exact way I described it, so couldn't be happier. That's what Zelda Williams had to say about that. Cody also commended Focus Features for taking on the risque scene. They said, "We have to give credit to Focus because that scene probably did turn off a lot of potential buyers and actors when I initially wrote the script. I'm sure there were people who read it and said, no thanks, which is always the case." So honestly, very funny story right there, and let's get into the whole thing. But I'm curious to see if the R-rated version does exist, because you could tell the film held a lot back at times, and those cuts and everything, it made sense. But let's talk about the film and its ending and what it all meant. So pretty much by the end of the film, we saw that Lisa and the creature were pretty much like seeing more eye to eye. From the beginning, Lisa didn't really want to have anything to do with the creature, even though the creature was in love with Lisa from the beginning. You could just tell, and how they felt about everything that was happening. And of course, during that scene when Lisa was trying to go with the guy, and the monster was just like, with Michael Trent, and we saw that Lisa finds out that, hey, my sister Taffy is actually with this guy, even though she kept telling me not to go near him and all of this. She's actually taking him away from me. Of course, Lisa feels very betrayed by all of this when she finds the two of them in the guy's home. The creature's just outside, comes through, sees that Lisa's distressed about everything that has happened right now, and immediately goes into fight mode. And that's just because of everything that happened prior, when the creature actually killed Janet, who was played by the great Carla Gugino. Honestly, very good stepmother evil cartoony vibes right there from Carla Gugino. But we saw the creature first kill Janet, and then eventually we also saw the creature kill the creepy classmate. And we saw, of course, that the creature takes parts from everybody they kill. With Janet, the evil stepmother, took the ear, and then with the creepy classmate, took the hand. And now with Michael Trent, they are going to kill Michael Trent, and they are going to take their member. And that's what we just talked about earlier right now. They took something. They took something that they needed. Of course, they also said it early in the movie, and then they just get out of there. Of course, all of this happens in front of the sister, Taffy, and she's just in shock about this. And Lisa is like, you know what? I'm taking you home, and I'm going to go track down the creature. We're going to get this fixed. They go, and then Lisa finally realizes that the creature really does love her. And now they are on the run because, of course, all of the things that have just happened with the stepmother and the creepy classmate, the police are cornering, and it's just not looking good for them. So Lisa decides that the only way that they can keep moving forward is if they just pretty much end it all. And Lisa decides to go into the tanning bed, put it at max, and just end it all, and that's it. She leaves a note for the creature, and when the creature opens it, it says that death is only temporary, almost like an idea went off in their head. And we see that the tanning bed just completely blows with Lisa in it. It starts getting on fire. The whole like garage is on fire now. And then we cut to the father of Lisa, as well as her sister Taffy, going to visit the graveside of Lisa. And then Taffy notices it says beloved wife. And then we immediately cut, and the next scene is actually the creature now able to talk for the first time. The creature was never able to talk, which was something that I gave tremendous kudos to Cole Sprouse for being able to evoke these emotions of the creature without speaking a word. But now the creature is able to talk and is reading a book. We see Lisa is laying on the monster's lap, is alive, is bandaged up. It seems Lisa might have actually died during the fire, and they pretty much were brought back to life in maybe the same way the monster was brought back to life. We don't need to know with the specifics. It's a movie. Roll with it. But we do see that the monster's now able to speak, and a lot of people are wondering, how did this happen? So I don't know. There's no confirmation of this just yet, but we do see that Lisa's mouth is kind of like red, and there's like blood or all of that. So it makes sense, I think, to think that maybe Lisa wanted the monster to have her tongue to be able to speak. And there's a lot of moments in the film where Lisa says that she doesn't really speak or talks that much, and that's the most she's ever spoken. So maybe she just wanted the monster to be able to have that as well, and be able to communicate as well. That's sort of like the power of love, if you will, that she's able to say, you know what, I'll sacrifice this for you because you make me this happy. But yeah, that's pretty much our ending right there. And the monster's not able to speak because they presumably do have Lisa's tongue, and now they've fallen in love. So yeah, the monster was able to get the stepmother's ear, the creepy classmate's hand, and the Michael Trent, little Michael Trent, that's what we'll call it, and now Lisa's tongue. And Lisa has been brought back to life by the monster, and that's pretty much how our movie ends right there. leaving it up for a possible sequel. I'm not entirely sure if that's something that's on the table. I do know that Diablo Cody says that they were able to find their confidence of sorts now that they wrote Lisa Frankenstein, and after seeing how much Jennifer's body has been getting sort of a second look, and people are realizing, you know what, this movie's actually pretty good, and Diablo definitely cooked, and Diablo has cooked on Lisa Frankenstein as well. So very excited to see if they do want to go forward with a movie. But yeah, pretty much at the end, Lisa and the creature were able to get away with it all because they not faked Lisa's death, but Lisa apparently died and then was brought back to life. She gave her tongue to the creature, so the creature could now speak, and it's happily ever after the end. But let me know what you think about this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very cute. The horror elements of it really were a lot darker than I was expecting, and I think that Catherine Newton really thrives in this role. But also Lisa Silverano was great in this as well. Very funny banter between both of them as well. Carla Gugino as well, just a very evil, despicable, cartoony villain. Very much so one that I think fits the tone of the movie well. But Diablo Cody, really happy to see them coming back to this sort of type of movie. And I'm excited to see what Zelda Williams does next. But let me know what you think about the film. Let me know if you're excited for whatever is coming. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. Like I've said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following us wherever you're watching this, whether it's on that app or this app. We pretty much are Cultural Elixir everywhere. So wherever you can think you can find us, you probably find us with that name. But yeah, as always, I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.